Okay, so this is the assignment 2-3, your chatbot part one. And so as for the requirements, what to submit, this will be my code walkthrough, 2 minutes explaining how the domain classifier works, 1 minute to explain how my intent classifier works, and 2 minutes to explain how the slot filler class works in my project, as well as the 5 intents that I propose for each domain. So, this is closing out. So here's my domain classifier.java class. And for the new changes, I added weather and food keywords, which are relevant keywords to the weather and food domain. I added keywords like cold, hot, snow, rain, etc. And for the food domain, I added keywords eat, meal, restaurant, and cuisine. For score calculation, I added the method calculate domain scores, which assigns scores based on the presence of the relevant keywords. And some scores um, will be increased by 1.0 because each keyword is 1.0. And that will increase based on how many keywords show up in the message I send to the chatbot. And for maximum score, I did have that, but that's actually not there anymore. The maximum score would take the um index of the intent score and times that by 10, but I didn't want that anymore, so that's not there. As for the changes I made, the 5 intents I have for the weather, intent classifier class is weather report, snow, rain, which were there before. I added temperature and wind. And so, and the temperature index is 3, the wind index is 4. I added keywords that for temperature and for wind. And for the get score method, it returns an integer representing the score of the highest matching intent, which is just the score of the intent that shows up the most, and calculates it using the calculate intent scores method. And it returns that this is not there anymore because I did not want to multiply my intent by 10. I did not want that. I wanted to return my intent just as is. And I have the get score method return type, which I changed from int to a double because um, I want the intents, as you see right here, are decimals. So they will not just be like 2, it's 2.0 or 0.5. For the food, the new intents are find food and food recommendation. Unknown was there, but it's a default to fallback when no match is found with the based on the keyword in the message. And find food and food recommendation are there. I have keywords based on those. And the highest scoring intent will show based on if it's a 0.5 or 1.0 or 2.0. Um, or 2. Here, this one is the highest in scoring intent, so the intent score will be that's the highest will show up for the domain. And I believe that is what is there. As you see, the intent scores print out right there. Each intent score is 1.0 that I have in this class. Going on to the city time intent Java class. Um, what have I added? Well, this is city time intent. Yeah, I don't believe I added anything different intents. And okay, it now includes order food because that isn't. That is new. Find city was there. Scheduled meeting was there. Time inquiry was there, and unknown was there. Okay. Um, Sitting time validation uses the is city valid method and is time valid method to ensure cities and times are recognized in predefined lists, such as right here. And this is this is an initialized city names method. Okay. Or this is a Boolean method type with the is time valid method that returns a string of the time, and it's based on that string of the time object. It iterates through the times of the day that I say will be in the message list in the preconceived message. And if the time is valid and the time is valid, it's there, and we see it, then it returns as true, being that it's there, it's in the message, and if it's not there, then it returns false. Let me make sure. Okay, initialize the city times, and this method initializes times of day right here. And then is valid. Is time valid? That's for times a day. Okay, and then same thing for city names. It returns a string of a city, a string of a city object, which is the city name, and reiterates the city names. And if the city name is valid, is there, then returns true. If not, false. Okay, what else? Um, Time inquiry handling. It can the chatbot can handle inquiries about military time, which is through the preconceived messages, and validates if the time format matches the predefined acceptable times. And calculate intent scores method computes a score for each intent based on how many of the intent related keywords appear in the input text. So, and just calculate the intent scores based on the keywords. Um, which is get score. Returns, it gives an array of the doubles, which are right here. And it just returns my intent scores. And my intent score would be the highest double. So that's why for here, even though you don't see 0.5, 2.0, you see right here being the intent score for city type because that's the one that's dominant. Okay, for the slot filler Java class. City names extraction, and it implemented an array of common city names in a loop to check if that city name is present in input text. For location, same thing, but now just using cities. Days of the week, relative date extraction on Friday, tomorrow, using those keywords in my message. Time of day, um, and I did not change anything to this class, I believe. I think everything is the same. Yeah, using regex regular expressions for handling days of the week in uppercase or lowercase. Yeah, everything is the same. I didn't make much changes to this. And of course, the private Boolean, this method type finds a phrase or phrase words or inputs words. And really we're just checking for input words that I as the user inputs. And if they are equal to the phrase word, that would trigger a response. Okay, this is the only time I use this. Yeah, because I had to make sure My phrase words are really just my input words based on the messages that I already had preconceived from my chatbot uh class right here. This is where it's in my switch case that has all the type of questions I would ask the chatbot. But I've not changed anything to this class. Um, yeah. Right, here we go. Utility method designed to check if a given phrase represents an array of words exists within another array of words, which is really just my input that I give to the chatbot. So yeah. Now for the demonstration of my chatbot, I will do these last two questions and with the new messages I came up with, the new questions I came up with. So right here, is there a good restaurant in LA next Monday? And it gives me a response back with the location slot being LA, day of week, Monday, relative date next Monday. And right here you see, based on the intent score, for restaurant, that was one of the key words. And it says order food, which is a new intent. And it gives me my highest intent score, which is 1.0, because that's the highest one out of all of these four. What time is it? Military time. Military time is currently 14:30 to 2:30 p.m. And time of day slot is 14:30. And same here. Um, my intent score, order food, find city, schedule meeting, time inquiry is 4.0. And so that's the highest one. I just decided to make the time inquiry intent to be 4. It could be whatever I decided to be, but it's 4. That's the highest one. And I also added status. It's an in-domain message. So there we go. These new questions. What time is my meeting in Paris tomorrow? Your meeting in Paris is scheduled for tomorrow at 10 a.m. Time of day, 10 a.m. Location, Paris. Relative date, tomorrow. And here for 2 intents, I have scheduled meeting and time inquiry. Scheduled meeting 0.5, time inquiry 2.0. As the intent scores, it takes the highest, 2.0, with the slots as listed. And then, of course, the last question. When does the concert start at 7 p.m. this Saturday? Time of day, 7 p.m., day of the week, Saturday. And um, since there are no keywords, concert is not a keyword, start's not a keyword, there's no keywords that triggers an intent score to show up. So there's nothing for this, no intent score for this question, but it is an in-domain message. So that is it. I hope that you enjoy my walkthrough of this project. Thank you.